Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 2nd, and right now we are looking at the infrared slash visible satellite imagery. You see at the very end of this loop, you can see the sun rising across the area, and I'm going to stop at where we are right now. Not much to speak of as far as clouds across northern, central California, the Bay Area, except once you get down towards Southern California, there is some of that marine layer affecting some of the immediate coastline. But you can also see that we're dealing with some of this offshore flow, and that's why temperatures have been so warm. So some record high temperatures there across the Bay Area yesterday. That marine layer is virtually non-existent except for very low elevations right along the ocean out there. But yeah, that is why we're warming up. You can kind of see that offshore flow here, not really reaching down into Southern California. So that's why that marine layer is still there. And once you get into the interior areas, you see some mid-level clouds across from Arizona. Some of the desert areas might kick off a shower across the Peninsula Range there down into Baja as we go through the day today. Looking at thunderstorm activity, though, nothing showing up here on the Storm Prediction Center. It looks good there. And the National Weather Service, San Francisco, again, talking about some of that record-breaking heat there. It's what's known as an area forecast discussion, and this is on the National Weather Service page itself. You can click on any one of these individual locations here, and it'll take you to those individual area forecast discussion areas. For example, it'd be Seattle up there in Portland, Eureka, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego. Then you'd be looking at San Joaquin Valley, Hanford, and you'd be looking at Reno, Sacramento. They got Las Vegas, Phoenix, Tucson, Flagstaff, all that good stuff. So taking a look at the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh, you'll see some of those mid-level clouds kind of popping off across the higher terrain. You may see some cumulus clouds building up there, and maybe a shower or two. Then we scroll off a bit more in towards tomorrow morning. You see some mid-level clouds riding up some of the coastal area here, make for some nice sunset activity here on Thursday. Maybe we'll see. It shows a little bit of precipitation there, but this shouldn't bring much change in the sensible weather as we go through Friday morning. Now, if we take a look at the North American model, it also shows that feature a little bit here too. So it might bring an increase in some mid-level moisture there, but nothing much to speak of. And of course, the big weather story here is the heat. I mean, look at Los Angeles here. This was updated yesterday, and 100 degrees for Los Angeles. That's pretty warm. And you can see, look at Santa Ynez, 106, Pyramid Lake, Lancaster, Covina, Long Beach at 95, pretty close to the coastal areas there as well. San Luis Obispo, 106, Paso Robles, 108. So yeah, nice and warm, even for some areas closer to the coastal regions here. And daily record set yesterday, October 1st. Look at Santa Rosa, 102, Rafael, 105, Kentfield, San Jose, 100 degrees. Previous record was 97, set back in 1980. So yes, it has been very hot out there for many locations. High temperatures today. Look at Redding, 102, Red Bluff, 100, Sacramento up towards 100, Marysville, Vacaville, 103, Santa Rosa, 100 degrees. You got to get towards right on the immediate coastline to feel the cooler temperatures. Eureka, 68, Fort Bragg, 76. Yesterday, Palm Springs set their all-time daily record high with 117 degrees there. So yeah, the heat is including a lot of the desert areas as well. You can see right on the 10 there. Now, if we look at that 117 degrees there at Palm Springs, you can see that's fairly way above average, about a 17 degree above average departure when you take the low and the high temperature into account. And if we look back, you can see this is Palm Springs. The previous record high was 115, set back in 1980. And if we look here, we've got Phoenix, Arizona. The record high for yesterday was 107. What did Phoenix do? 113. Absolute obliteration of record high temperatures. Just continues over and over again for many areas, and especially for Phoenix, Arizona. And this is Las Vegas. You can see Needles, California, Barstow, Kingman, Desert Rock, Death Valley, all setting record highs for October 1st. And if you guys want to purchase one of these weather stations, I highly recommend them. Very good for the price. I clicked on this one here, kind of near Furnace Creek, and it's got all kinds of information, a lightning detection system. It's got a haptic rain gauge, tells you when it starts raining or how hard it is raining at your house. And you can see, you can zoom in on this map and click on individual locations and see all the goods here on the right. It stores all the data for you in the cloud as well. So yeah, check that out. Highly recommended. Click on that link down below. Now, taking a look at the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left, there's the Pacific Ocean center frame. We've got California here kind of to the right. And this is the temperature about 5,000 feet. Streamlines, temperature anomalies, and the offshore flow going on here in the very warm conditions. Again, this is temperature anomalies, so well above normal for this time of year at 5,000 feet. And that helps to keep the heat over much of the region. And if we scroll on in towards Friday here, you can see we're not budging much on these temperatures. This system moves to the Pacific Northwest as we go through Friday. tries to bring some cooling, but doesn't really get down into California much at all. And we continue on into the weekend and on into next week. We're now looking off into next Monday afternoon, and you see we're not getting much help from these westerlies. They try to get in here as we go on in towards the end of next week, but no guarantee of that even. And we scroll off into the extended forecast, you can kind of see, you know, if you get into fantasy land there, we're looking a little bit too far out, but still that heat continuing across some of the west coast there. So we'll be watching that day by day. Not great looking here, though, as far as trying to drop these temperatures back down to normal or even below normal. Also, there is, what is this now? I believe this is Tropical Depression 11E right off the coastline. It's supposed to become a tropical storm here. You got to watch out for these. These can rapidly intensify. Remember Acapulco last year? So, you know, watch that. And if you're headed down to Mexico and to one of the resorts or not, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. You can check back here in the Central Pacific Hurricane Center, or just continue to watch this channel. I will continue to follow this tropical system here. It has the potential to move out across some of the Pacific Ocean as it is weakening some remnant moisture. We'll continue to watch that as we always do. Now, looking at the European artificial intelligence as of last night, trying to find some kind of semblance of some activity getting into California. And by the way, you can see that remnant moisture down there from that tropical depression. We continue off in towards next week. Some of these frontal systems try to get in here, and then you get a little bit of sign of life here as you go towards October 11th, a frontal system moving through the Pacific Northwest. How much of California will that include? Good question. We'll continue to watch that as we head off into the extended forecast. And as always, check in the smoke. We do have a few fires kind of producing some surface smoke out there. I wasn't able to pinpoint this one. I don't know if this is one of the smaller ones near Red Bluff or Redding, but you can see there is some smoke being produced. So you can kind of see if you're smelling that, you're probably nearby one of these fires here. Now, looking at that, you can zoom in a little bit here, and you see there are some smaller fires occurring there in the North Sacramento Valley. So yeah. And you can see there was actually the Happy Fire, which I believe was producing some smoke recently, and the Line Fire. But no, relatively speaking, across the state, we're doing still fairly well. Now, this is a 5-day running temperature anomaly here, 2 meters. So this is what you would feel at the surface. This is what means the most to us as humans on the surface. Obviously, we don't live aloft. But you can see as I'm scrolling through this 5-day running average, virtually the entire time as we go out towards mid-October is above average. I can just loop it through here and continue that, and you can see a lot of the west continues to be above average here as we go through mid-October. We'll continue to see if that's going to change. Now we're taking a look at the surface pressure map. Here's California, Hawaiian Islands to the left. You can see the Pacific Ocean. What we watch for generally when I bring this map up is for any kind of tropical cyclone development and perhaps any big area of high pressure here moving across the Great Basin that would signify some sort of offshore wind event such as Santa Ana, Diablo winds across the region. So we put this into motion, and you know, we keep a little bit of an offshore flow going here for the next couple of days, but we're not looking at anything really too much to speak of across the tropics or as far as any kind of strong offshore wind event. If we scroll off towards mid-October, you can kind of see this high pressure here. Maybe something will happen with that as we go towards mid-October. It is that time of year, climatologically speaking anyway. You see a little bit of a thermal trough up the west coast as we go way off into the fantasy forecast there. But yeah, we'll watch that and have plenty of heads up time if that does develop into something. Now taking a look at daily 2-meter max temperatures, very warm conditions again continue today, Wednesday, October 2nd. We go through tomorrow, a little bit of a drop on some of those temperatures. You can see a gradual cooling trend maybe as we go towards this weekend, but still quite warm across a lot of the Sacramento, San Joaquin Valley, and of course the desert areas. And even some of the coastal areas and coastal range is still quite warm. And Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit of a cooling trend maybe as we go through the extended forecast. Don't hold me to that. We'll just continue to report on that on a daily basis. Now, looking at the last 7 days, look at Phoenix, Arizona, a ridiculous 15 to 20 degrees above average for some locations, and widespread 10 to 15 across Nevada, deserts of California, even some of the, it looks like the Sierra Nevada, and maybe some of the foothill areas are higher terrain, 10 to 15 degrees above normal for this time of year. It's exceptionally warm, but we do have some of that relief that's been apparent here across some of the coastal counties there in Southern California and even Northern California, a little bit below average, but you can see how that above average has kind of been dominating much of the West. And this should be no surprise that the 6 to 10 day stark, big, above average percentages. And this doesn't necessarily mean temperature. This just kind of shows you the percentage that you're going to be above average here. So, you know, got to take that into account when you look at these forecasts. Here's the 6 to 10 day precipitation, you know. take that with a grain of salt. 8 to 14 day as well, much of the west and central portions above average. And there you go for the precipitation outlook as well. They haven't updated this just yet. I think this is coming maybe tomorrow. This is the drought monitor here, so we'll be watching to see what updates this brings. And of course, the longer we keep this heat around and we keep the precipitation away, our chances of introducing drought across the region increase dramatically here. So I expect this will probably be spreading into some of California a little bit more by the time I update this next. We'll see how that goes, though. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are liking the videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.